Oh my goodness, look who we have here, John Conway. It's so good to see you. How are you?
Hey, Professor S, I'm good. It's been a long time. It's good to see you too.
It's, oh my goodness, it's been way too long. John, I'm excited for several reasons. One, you are going to be our bookend to Social Work Month. So we've been celebrating social workers for 31 days, and today you are the last person we're celebrating. However, we're going to celebrate social workers 365. But because we get a month, March, we're spotlighting social workers every single day of March. And today, March 31st, John Conway, you're it. We're closing out with you. How do you feel about that?
I feel honored. Thanks for having me. That's great.
Incredible. So John, like I mentioned earlier, UNC Charlotte School of Social Work, we've been spotlighting and highlighting social workers every day of the month. We've been spotlighting faculty, we've been spotlighting community partners and advocates, we've been spotlighting alumni, but most importantly, we've also spotlighted students because students, you are the core of our program. We hope that as you exit our program, you're going into the profession equipped with the skills and with the knowledge necessary to be the advocates, supporters, and change agents for our community. So John, we appreciate you spending some time with us today. We know that you've had a really cool journey into the profession. So I'm gonna ask you a few questions here, all right? So
Yeah,
if you can
sure.
share with us, all right, you can share with us this information because we're gonna release this on all our social media platforms, all right? So our socially engaged videos are gonna go on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, okay? So if you can share with us, why social work? What led you to feel like I want to be a social worker? So that's one. Two, where are you currently placed? And then three, what do you feel like is a valuable lesson you've learned about becoming a social worker? And then please share with us, well, you're going to get a shout out, of course, to the class of 2022, but that's a unique story within itself, John. So please share some information with us. Go.
Okay. Question one was why social work, right? I never thought in a million years I'd be in a social work program. So that's a great question. I am somewhat of a non-traditional student, I suppose. I don't actually have a BSW. I actually have a degree in teaching high school social studies. So I got my teaching degree at Appalachian State and got a job here at Philippa Berry Academy of Technology in Charlotte, and I taught American history for 1 year, and then the AP Psych teacher retired, and so nobody wanted to teach it. I must have put down on my intent form that I was open to it because next thing I know, I'm teaching AP Psychology, and they don't focus on psychology in the social studies curriculum at all. So just kind of fast forward, I really found the therapy aspect fascinating, and before I knew it, I was looking up grad school stuff for psychology, and I just happened to know somebody who was a therapist, and I started asking him. I said, "Hey, like, I want to be a therapist. How do I need to get go to grad school for psychology?" And he was just like, "No, you don't want to be a psychologist." He's like, "You want to do therapy?" He's like, "You should be a social worker." And I'm like, "No, I don't want to work for DSS. Like, I don't think that's what I want to do." And he goes, "No, no, 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 no." He's like, "That is not at all, like, that's one small part of it." And just over the kind of, every time I would see him, he would just kind of expand on what social workers did. And before I knew it, I was looking at the 3-year program at UNC Charlotte and putting together my personal statement and transcripts and everything like that. So before I knew it, I was enrolled to be in this class of 2022 for the 3-year program. So that's kind of how I ended up in social work. Never would have guessed it.
Oh, what a journey! What an incredible! And I see you're representing Philippa Berry. You have
Oh, yeah,
the
Cardinals.
gear
Yeah.
on. There you go.
Yep.
So before you move on to the next couple of questions, I do want to just make a point here that we do have a special connection. So your cohort, the class of 2022, for the 3-year program, now it's a fully online MSW program. Your cohort was the last cohort that I was able to engage with before I transitioned into my new role in the School of Social Work as the BSW program director. So not only is there a connection, I have an affinity for your cohort as well, because I've seen your progression from day one when you started the program, and here you are soon in May of 2022, you'll be graduating and we'll be colleagues, and that's so wonderful and incredible. I can't wait for that day, John. So as we move on to the next question, where are you currently placed, John?
I'm with Dr. Hales. So at UNC Charlotte, I'm in a macro placement with Dr. Hales. Um, and he is teaching me a little bit about his research with trauma informed care, and I'm getting some practice doing some research design and data analysis and all that. So coming from an aspiring therapist to doing my advanced year internship within a macro placement is definitely not where I thought I would end up, but it's great. I'm really excited to be where I'm at working with Dr. Hales.
Excellent. And we all know that Dr. Hales is not only one of our talented faculty, but he is also somebody who is passionate about social work and research. And I'm so glad that you get a chance to learn from one of the very best that we have here in the School of Social Work, which is Dr. Hales. That leads me to my next question, which was, what do you feel like is one of the most valuable things that you've learned about being a social worker? I heard you mention that you initially wanted to come in with a micro focus, becoming a clinician, and here you are in a macro focus. I feel like there's a lesson learned in there, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I wake up and it changes. What I want to do. I feel like I have so many options. It's a little overwhelming, to be honest. Everything feels like it's on a different path. So like my teaching career could be winding up. However, if I want to do this, then I can teach still and do that. And then if I want to do, I mean, it's just like, I feel like I have so many different options. I'm ready to kind of get a little bit of clarity, but to kind of touch on that, I'd say the lesson I've learned is just to be open. I came in, without that social work experience. So when I heard anything besides clinical social work, I kind of was like, not for me. Like, that's cool. People should probably do it. Like, that's a good idea, but I don't think that's for me. And then, all the professors just kind of would just kind of bring it up every now and then, the need for macro work and if anybody's interested and all that stuff. And then just kind of before I knew it, I was really finding myself getting passionate about just the social justice stuff and the diversity in those classes with Chris. And, before I knew it, I was really connecting the dots with like macro work and then like working with my students and things like that. And then I ended up having a conversation with Dr. Hales about his work with the substance abuse task force and things like that. And then before I knew it, I was kind of had the offer to work with him for my internship. And it was just kind of along that kind of road, I realized that I was just opening myself up to whatever was next. I wasn't turning anything away. As long as I found that I was curious and I had an interest in it, I was going to do it. And I'm so glad that I did, because if I would have said no to this experience, I'd be wondering, like, what am I missing out on? Like, not saying that I know what I'm missing out on with clinical work. I feel like I could find myself in a nice placement and be developing those skills, but I also don't feel like I think I could do that after graduation if I needed to. I can't really just knock on Dr. Hales' door and say, hey, can I work with you for a year? Like, that's something pretty special. And just giving myself the permission to just take whatever opportunity I see, no matter if it's micro, meso, macro, just learn what you can from these professors while you're here, because I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be a student for much longer. And so just be open, be flexible, go wherever it takes you. Don't shut anything off because you probably just don't know enough about it. And, it's amazing what you can learn when you do that. And so I'm hoping to take that into my career as well, to just, I have, like I said, I don't know what I'm going to be doing in May when I graduate, but I've just kind of got this feeling that something will be there. And, when I know it, I'll see it. And so on a good day, that's how I feel about it. On a bad day, I'm super anxious and really wanting to know what it's going to be, but I think it's going to be great.
You know what, John, we're going to give you a plug here. So anybody who's out there looking for somebody now, I mean, John graduates in May, but hey, if you're looking for somebody solid who is just an incredible worker, who's going to be committed and passionate, who will do the research, who's a team player, here you go. Here is somebody who is going to be graduating from our incredible program into the profession. And hey, you don't need Indeed.com. You got ProfessorS.com. So we can get you hired, John. So John,
sounds good.
We're gonna play a quick game. All right.
Okay.
I have fun. I like to have fun. You've had me as a professor, and I like to have fun in the classroom setting. So I have fun everywhere. So this game that we're gonna play, it's called the Fab Five in 5 seconds. So you get to share with us your favorite 5 things in under 5 seconds. Okay. So when I say go, your favorite anything. It doesn't have to be theme related. It just could be anything that you consider your favorite. All right. So favorite 5 in 5 seconds on my go. Ready, set, go.
Guitar, my animals, food, my family, my PS5.
All right, excellent. Those are really great choices, by the way.
Yeah.
John, this was so much fun. I really enjoyed getting to spend the last interview with somebody special like you. So before we take off, I do have an announcement for all our viewers. So stay tuned, because these socially engaged videos that I've had the honor and privilege to do over the past 31 days, it's inspired me to take it a little bit further. So we're hoping to continue these socially engaged videos into a socially engaged podcast. So for those who like what you heard with all the interviewees, perhaps we may ask some of them back and go a little bit more in depth with the type of work that they're doing in the community. So stay tuned. We're trying to figure out all the schematics of the socially engaged podcast, but we'll be releasing the information on all our social media platforms. And we appreciate the time that we got to spend with all social workers here these past 31 days. John, we thank you for not only being such a wonderful student, but interested not only in our field and our profession, but interested in making a change. And I got a chance to get to know you and meet you over the past few years. I'm excited about your graduation coming up, and everybody else in your cohort, and all MSW and BSW students who will be graduating this May. We're just excited about the next wave of social workers coming through, because I am not going to be doing this forever, probably. I will be stepping back so individuals like yourself can step into these roles, because we need y'all. So John, happy Social Work Month to you. Thank you again for spending time with us. Social workers out there, we celebrated a whole month, but please do not forget that you are celebrated every day. And for those who know a social worker, if in any capacity, thank them every day. Thank a social worker every day, because all we want to do is make sure that other individuals have the life that they deserve to have in a safe environment, in an environment that is open and welcoming to all. So once again, John, thank you so much. Happy Social Work Month.
Thanks for having me.